Radford University Disability Resource Office, Note-Taker Training. Why your services are needed. Students with disabilities sometimes have a challenging time focusing on lectures and taking notes. With a note-taker's assistance, students are able to be more successful in their classes. When students with disabilities don't have to worry about taking their own notes, they can get involved in discussions, reflect back and recall class later, know that they will have a study guide, and be confident about additional assignments and activities. This is the process for choosing a note-taker. The instructor will circulate the note-taker form asking for volunteers. Then the instructor will bring it to the Disability Resource Office. The chosen note-taker will be notified via email and asked to watch the training slideshow. They will then turn notes in twice a week. Notes will be scanned in our office to be sent to the DRO student, or note-taker can email their notes to dronotes@radford.edu. Here are some of the note-taker perks. For being a note-taker, you would receive priority registration for the next semester, 10% off at Nebo Bookstore, 45 hours of non-conduct related community service. Being a note-taker is a resume builder, and it helps becoming a better note-taker. You also gain satisfaction by helping others. Qualifications for the job. You must be on time and attend class regularly. You must deliver notes promptly, have good listening skills, and have good short-term memory. A note-taker must demonstrate dependability and must have decent handwriting. A note-taker must arrange for a backup if absence is unavoidable and must be willing to receive feedback. Here are some listening tips to help be a better note-taker. Write down key information. Outlines help. Listen for repeated information and for speech emphasis. Listen for specific page numbers or, "This will be on the test." Don't let distractions interfere. And if you can't hear, speak up. Force yourself to listen. This is a list of some note-taking tips and techniques for in the classroom. Arrive on time and pay attention. Write down everything on the board, including examples, diagrams, and illustrations. Mark points of emphasis, such as test dates and announcements. Underline definitions and write them verbatim. Write down references to other sources and activities such as demonstrations and labs. Indicate the speakers and their names. Rewrite any illegible words and make sure false starts are crossed out. Get the meat of the lecture. Write down any secondary points. Write in sufficient detail, and please remain unbiased. This is a list of the note-taker page format. We ask note-takers to write on 8.5 by 11 notebook paper. Please use the headings of class name, date, and time, and leave a 1.5 to 2-inch margin. Try to write in outline form. It really does help our student follow along better. Please use blue or black ink or heavy pencil. Email notes if you type them. Stay in the margins and only use yellow highlighters. Please use white space to separate topics and check your spelling carefully. Here are 2 writing samples, one that is good and one that is bad. This is a list of common note-taking problems. With general format, typically things are illegible, note paper is too small, lines are too narrow, or writing in colored ink. For organization, poor labeling, no numbering, please no profanity, lack of white space, and subtopics are unrelated to the heading. For paraphrasing, things can be too wordy or not in your own words. The meaning is unclear or there's an unfinished section of writing. This is a list of common problems note-takers in the past have come across. What do you do if half of the class is devoted to student presentations? Please take notes for the other half of the class. If professor is going to be testing students on any of the presentation, take notes and bring those in. What if during the class the instructor showed slides of famous paintings? Take notes on the artist's name and the painting name, as well as any discussion or information from the professor. What if the class is divided into small groups for assignments? Write down the group assignment and what was discussed. What if the class begins with a test review? Please take notes on the test review. If the professor hands out a form, take any additional notes that may be gone over. The class watches a movie. If the class will be tested on the movie or will use the movie as an example for future assignments, then notes are needed. There is a guest speaker. Take notes on guest speakers in case the class is tested on it or needs to use the speaker's information for future assignments. There is a test coming up. Bring all notes in that would be needed for the upcoming exams as soon as they are available, even if it's not your specific day to bring notes in. Students rely on these notes to be able to study. What if you miss a class? Please arrange for somebody else to take notes and bring those notes in. What if there were no notes for a particular week? Email dronotes@radford.edu stating that there were no notes for that particular week. What if PowerPoints are available on D2L? Even if PowerPoints are available on D2L or elsewhere, still take additional supporting notes on what the professor discusses in class to go along with the PowerPoints. What happens if a note-taker does not perform their duties? If a note-taker does not perform the duties they have agreed to, they can lose all of the note-taker perks and another note-taker will be assigned immediately. Remember, the students you are taking notes for are depending on you for pertinent supporting information. Your notes can make a difference between a C and a D for a student with challenges. Where do I deliver my notes and how often? Notes can be brought into our office in the lower level of Tyler Hall next to student counseling. No need to make a copy of your notes. They will be scanned into our computer in our office. If you type your notes, you can email them to dronotes@radford.edu. Please include in the email subject line the class name and class number. Bring notes into our office twice a week. Congratulations! You are now officially trained to be a note-taker. Thank you so much for volunteering. Please email dronotes@radford.edu acknowledging that you have watched this training and understand the guidelines. Failure to do so could result in a loss of note-taker perks.